things, but D.A. Roarshock is a Northern California poet and storyteller, publisher of San Francisco's Roarshock Page, a literary street flyer, and author of First Hours of a Rainy Day and Other Poems, which you're showing us. Yes, there you go. Thank you. He has performed spoken word for many years in diverse venues, locally and internationally, and on the radio. He joined the global online poetry renaissance beginning in March 2020, which has greatly expanded his audience and circle of fellow poets. Currently, he is co-host of the weekly online reading David Leo Seurat Spoken Word Online. It's the online iteration of the Spoken Word Paris, which I went to a few times at the beginning of the pandemic. His work is archived at www.roarshock.net. All that information will be in the write-up. Fear not. So, a great poet. I mean, a lot of things he does travels, and by that I mean sometimes it's humorous, funny, historical, literary, lyric, and not. And it's always interesting.
Good evening, everyone, all you amazing, fine poets. I am so happy to be here in your company. And just to follow on from the introduction there, it is my favorite job right now is being a co-host on Spoken Word Online. Every Tuesday, you're all invited if you're free in the middle of a Tuesday. It starts at 11 a.m. our time, Pacific time. And we're coming up on our 300th consecutive week on December 23rd. So we've been doing it since the pandemic. And Dan Brady, thank you so much for inviting me to read here tonight. And since I've joined with Sacred Grounds some years back, you've always been very supportive and encouraged my work, and it means a lot to me. So I appreciate it. And I wish you whatever you want to do in your upcoming retirement. So I have some poems. Start with First Hours of a Rainy Day. Lines in Oakland lines, endless freeways in California. Misty forests and angel minstrels. All is lines. Loved the girl, he loved the girl. Orange thinness, yellow sun, springs and clocks, human fetus, incredible photos, beetles in yellow submarines. The circle is magic. Child's art and pumpkins grand. Such a perfect smile. No more, gone. All is darkness never ending. The sun's not seen in Oakland, but lines are in the painter's eyes. All those who left and those who remain. A thick, cold fog and mist, obscure view from the top of the hill, early winter, late in the year. Will there ever be time to meditate on this year? My mother died on December 4. I am the last of my first tribe. Now no one remains to corroborate the Bigfoot story, but I swear that it's true. Did she reunite with John O. and Daniel and all who went before over on the other shore? That is what we muse, our comfort metaphor. All that is certain, they are absent from and have departed this living space. But they were here. There would be no universe without the fact that each of them existed. My mother Helga existed. It is a fact that I remain. The memories of those I love around me and the love and support of those who remain. Family and dear friends, old and new. And my big orange cat, too. They give me such boosts of encouragement in my time here still with all that I must do. 100,000 pomegranates for peace. Now has come December. The harvest is in. The last radishes dug from the ground, the last green tomatoes wrapped in paper and stored in the pantry. On the south side of the house, the pomegranate tree drooped beneath the weight of fruit. They grew all through a solitary summer, small green bulbs to large red balls. Out of the unexpected blue, cosmic transmissions on the social web, networks of dozens of brilliant, supportive poets spatially dispersed around the planet. I was contacted by Paul Jolly, one of the first poets I knew, back at last in old Berkeley, after decades away from poetry, but now returned with his great sincerity. In pleasing synchronicity, I had been thinking of Paul a day before his contact. Remembering the time he approached me at high school and held forth two halves of a pomegranate, myriad bright red seeds gleaming, glistening under high ceiling lights. We are the pomegranate, he said, laughing, and I laughed. For us, we are the pomegranate became our catchphrase, a metaphor. Harvest the pomegranates before they bend the tree to breaking. Two huge baskets. These will be good until February. Survive another perilous year. Fingers crossed, nervous, spells and incantations. Breathe right, relieve stress, and whatever boosts immunity. Dry California waits for rains to douse the parched land, knock down the wildfires for a while. In the United States and other lands, fraudsters peddle alternative facts, confuse the gullible and uneducated, while war, pandemic disease, floods, fire, and famine sicken and kill hundreds of thousands of people and other creatures around the world. Yet Doomkopfs gather and march from Berlin to Brazil to way down in Texas. Hell no, we won't wear masks. We will not vaccinate or be blinded by science. Elections are a hoax. But I declare, we are the pomegranate. All of us, regardless of our vision, be it cloudy or clear, And if we are striking out because we are so injured, so emotionally hurt, so fearful that we hit and hurt, we can instead be forgiving and love ourselves and others. We can reach out and love to all the brilliant seeds, all the love radiating from souls. We can help and heal all together now. Love is all we need. And the pomegranates growing again next year and every year. Let the seasons roll around. We are the pomegranate. The night John Lennon died, shedding tears for a man I never knew. Blood is blood, and karma is karma. Your words expressed choice. I grew to the sound of your voice. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles. The dreamer is dead. Tonight was very dark and cold. I had to work late. A friend called a little after 8. I thought he was telling a joke. And now the punchline. John Lennon was just shot dead. Some joke. I ain't laughing. Is John playing a joke on us? Is John sitting back and laughing? We closed up the store. The news was traveling fast. Emotion crackled every voice. Have you heard? John Lennon was murdered tonight. No, pain, anger, disbelief. Driving home on the radio, all I heard were Beatles tunes, and tears spilled out at a stoplight. How irrational, shedding tears for a man I never knew. No, never met, not never knew. John, we all knew you quite well, and we loved you. I always felt a special closeness. You turned 20 the day I was born. You turned 40 the day I turned 20. I wonder how you celebrated those occasions. Mal shot dead in New York City at the end of 1980 by a lone Hawaiian lunatic, by a man who expressed his will with a gun. Blood is blood, and karma is karma, and death is death, and all the world has lost a very loving older brother, and all the world has every reason to cry. Chairman of the world. If I were chairman of the world, mice would not vex Disco Stew. Cats would patrol all Midgard and Disco Stew's farmhouse, too. From warrior cat to kitty pet, no solace for the mice that roared. Be they fierce as Reepicheep, be they twerp or low pipsqueak, even Frederick, the poet mouse, from the tip of his nose to the end of his tail. Ha ha, Stuart Little. Cut away all paper bags. The film is nothing like the book. You are not chairman of the world, and neither am I. Alas, alack, alark, leave birds out of this. Dapper, tweed-dressed mice driving roadsters or fighting battles with flashing swords, of no concern to cats in universes next door. Space-time for springers, Schrodinger. Are you alive or are you dead? I like you, cat. I will call you Kim. Now go and catch those mice. Replied the cat. I will call you Lush. I will call you Sot. No is kitten, is cat. Name is Kim. And along with Orange Dudley and Dudley's dad and Mudgy Squirmy and Rowdy, Twilight and Midnight and Tabby Cats Max and Mo with Button and Mocha, Queen Silvara, Regal and Aloof, Mama Kitty too, cat goddess rest her soul. All hail Xandar the Magnificent. In the forest of Kim, all send greetings, Disco Stew. So do not be downhearted. Your mice shall soon be thwarted, swatted down, your home again a sea of tranquility when those mice are gone. Yours in jest, the chairman of the world. California woman, deep roots by the bay, waters from the highest peaks, through foothills and valleys. She drinks and bathes in them. She bathes in sunlight and moonlight, eats what grows on the land, tends gardens of friends, nurtures communities of inclusion. Mother and daughter of the West, deep in her eyes I see wells of old soul wisdom, humor and affection, no time for deceit or subterfuge, passion like earthquakes, summer heat waves, winter storms. I am drawn magnetically like a 49er in a dream of El Dorado. Her earthly and heavenly charms, knowing true gold comes from the heart, on a boat, on the waters of the bay, afternoon sun on the surface, reflections on her beautiful face, past, future, and such tingling thrill, present pressure, warmth and taste of her kiss. Yuletide cheer. In the early gray morning light, the tail end of a year, reading a batch of poems from 10 years before. Then my mind was on sex or lack of it. Now my mind is on money or lack of it. The snow and water laden clouds of this big Yuletide storm swirl around outside the windows of my Nob Hill apartment, heading northwest, southeast. A fresh hot cup of espresso from some ultra impressive, taken for granted, newfangled machine on my kitchen table wakes me up. An early morning smoke smooths me out. When I read those poems I wrote back then, I think of my circumstances back then and see them reflected in the work. The same is true of now, but the common thread is poetry, translating events like a verbal camera of unmechanical ultra subjectivity, the emotional moments of an individual recorded through time. Good poetry is accessible to others who have lived, do live on planet Earth and beyond. Back at my apartment, the great light has turned to blue-white. I hear streetcars rumbling up Clay Street, people moving around in the house. A loud plane goes by over the city, breaks my concentration. Back to consciousness, I strive to live the poet's life about however much of the time when I think about it. The rest of the time, I'm pretty confused, trying to find my true life's path through an ongoing series of compromises with all and everyone around me. But to stand in a hillside windowed room in the morning with a hot cup of thunderous caffeination in my grip and watch the cold Yuletide cheer outside rattle the windows, then I feel very keenly aware, secure in myself, ready to challenge the odds, ready to speak my mind poems, to utter my poems of emotional reality, risk boiling the blood of some who may read them. Let nothing hinder the task of raising fun spirits as much as I can and encouraging goodwill and good cheer among every child, woman, and man. Winter solstice poem. Shortest day of the year is nearly here. Rain, fuzzy, darkening gray, quilting San Francisco Bay. Christmas shopping crowds in quiet overcoats, filling the roads, lighted storefronts twinkling in the streets, smells of roasting foods on the breeze. Head on home to bundle in a small Yuletide room with a small and warming drink, a quiet candle flame, and a small pen in a book. Long night gathers on this, the northern earth, gathers all to semi-hibernatory sleep. And if you'll indulge me, I have one more to conclude. Silence for John Lennon. There is no silence in a sunlit room. There are voices that come unannounced from voices long unheard. At the moment of tranquil despair, there are eyes that mirror infinite love. There are thoughts that are the key to immortality. There are tears that flow like spring torrents, sobbings like tornadoes, cryings like hurricanes. There is silence shared and savored. There is aloneness and quietness. There is a moment of lucidity, gone as soon as you become aware of it. There are many distractions. There are many paradoxes. There are many hidden places, hitherto unexplained. There is much to be said for sitting in a seat of silence, awaiting the moment I can't remember, but can remember. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I'm removing the spotlight, folks. Let them know.
That was great, Roarshock. Right on, man.
Felt like we were
Wow.
sitting around a fireplace
That would be a
Yes.
good time to do
as
it,
you
huh?
were reading. and we were sitting around the fireplace.
We should all do that sometime.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Around a bonfire.
Always nice to time travel with you, Rorschach.